program came into being. So starting back in 2011, several senators, including our very own Richard Burr, introduced a legislation into Congress that was the ABLE Act that would allow for families with individuals with disabilities to be able to save in a tax-advantaged type of an account. In 2014, President Obama signed the ABLE Act into law. Following that, in 2015, the North Carolina ABLE Act was enacted, and our first accounts became available in January of 2017. The last date on this screen was just late last year, December of 2022, when President Biden signed the Secure 2.0 Act, and included in that was the Able Age Adjustment Act, which is going to raise the age of eligibility from 26 to 46. So, and that's starting January 1, year 2026. And I'll touch on that again, but just wanted to make sure that everyone's aware that in a couple years, the age of eligibility is going to be raised from 26 to 46. Here's a map that shows all the states that currently sponsor an ABLE program. So there's 46 states, along with Washington, D.C., that sponsor an ABLE program. All the programs are very, very similar because we all follow the same federal legislation. Where there might be some differences is in the investments that are offered as part of the programs, as well as the fees. You'll see here there's 4 states in blue that do not offer a program, but they are surrounded by states that do. The states that are in green, those programs are open to all U.S. residents. Those states that are in gold or tan are open to only the residents of those states. So you see that North Carolina is a green state. Our program is open to all U.S. residents. Again, we are very proud of our program. We've done a lot of work over the last 5 years to enhance the program. One of the things that we think kind of sets us apart from some of the other programs are we are a member of the National ABLE Alliance, which is a consortium of states and DC that allows us to bring the negotiation and buying power of 17 ABLE programs to the table, and that's allowed us to keep our fees very, very competitive. We are very, very transparent with our fees and the cost, and we'll go into fees a little bit later in the presentation. Something else we think that sets our North Carolina apart is we're a program that allows parents to open an account on behalf of a disabled child who is an adult. And then lastly, we partner with a lot of great groups like Abound Health and the Special Olympics and the Autism Society, and we get feedback from all of our partners, and that allows us to then advocate for the program within the North Carolina General Assembly. So we certainly like getting feedback as people use the program, and if there's things that they feel like can be enhanced, we certainly like to get that feedback so we can carry that forth and hopefully make some positive changes. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits. As I mentioned before, ABLE accounts are tax-advantaged savings accounts for people with qualified disabilities. It allows them to save without jeopardizing their public means tested benefits such as SSI or SSDI, and it allows them to save beyond the $2,000 limit that they're used to running into. Now, you don't have to be on any of the means tested benefits to open up an Able account. But certainly is one of the great features is that it allows you to save without having an impact to those types of benefits. So let's talk about who is eligible to open up an Able account. So as I mentioned before, there is an age restriction. So if you have a disability that was present or onset before the age of 26, and again, that's going to be changing to 46, but currently it's still 26. So if you have a disability that was present or onset before the age of 26, and you have a written diagnosis from a licensed physician regarding your disability, or if you are eligible for SSI or SSDI, or if you have one of the conditions from the Social Security Administration's the Compassionate Allowances list. And there's the link to that where you can go and look and see what all of those are. And I'll be providing this presentation to Cheryl after this, so she can forward it out to those people who are joining, so you don't have to worry about writing that down. So again, if the disability was present or onset before the age of 26 and one of the other three items. ABLE programs are a self-certification program. So at the time you open the account, that you certify that you're eligible for the account. And then every year thereafter, you also certify that you're still eligible for the account. It sounds like like it might be an onerous process, but it really isn't. It's really simple. Let's talk about actually opening up an ABLE account. So who can open an ABLE account? Well, of course, the account owner or the person with the disability, they can go and open up an ABLE account. If the person with the disability has granted power of attorney to somebody, that person with power of attorney can open up an account on behalf of the account owner. Or for an account owner that does not have legal capacity, the people in the following order, and this list is in a priority order, and I'll kind of explain that in a second. But it's an agent under power of attorney, a guardian of the estate or general guardian, spouse, parent, sibling, grandparent, or SSA appointed representative payee. When I say that these are listed in an order, basically for somebody to open an account, they just have to be sure that there's not somebody higher on the list that's willing to do that. And really where that comes into play, oftentimes where you might have somebody in a group home and somebody has a general guardianship over that person, oftentimes they'll waive their rights to open an account, and that way it can default to someone like an SSA appointed rep payee to assist with that. So let's talk about actually opening the account. So it's very, very easy to do. You can go to our website at ncable.org. You can see there that third blue box on the right, open an account, click there. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to go through and get an account opened. We do have a checklist online that will help you to ensure that you have all the right information in front of you when you go to open the account. And it's a very, very easy process. For those who are not comfortable by doing it online, we do have a paper enrollment form that you can print off, complete, and then mail in. And for anyone who feels like they need a little bit more assistance with getting an account open, we do have a service center that is available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, that are there, and they're able to help you and answer any of the questions you need in terms of getting an account open. Now, in order to open the account and keep it open, you have to fund it with at least $25. So let's talk about the concept of a interested party. So for somebody who opens an Able account and feels like they may need a little more help, they can designate somebody as a interested party on the account. That person can access the account in a read-only fashion, which means they can access the information, but they cannot perform any transactions. They cannot move money around. They cannot take money out. They're simply added to the account to help provide guidance. So examples of that might be a financial advisor or a CPA, or maybe even a legal counsel. So again, this is for an account owner who feels like they just need a little extra help. They can assign an interested party. Now I want to touch on authorized individuals and the documentation required. So for folks who may need further help, who so they don't need to or don't want to assign a interested party because they need more help than that, an account owner can assign what's called an authorized individual. Now, an authorized individual is someone who can manage and transact on the account on the behalf of the account owner. So again, this would be somebody who really needs help in the day-to-day management of their account, that can't do it themselves. They can assign an authorized individual. So who can act as an authorized individual? Well, a parent can act as an authorized individual. Again, the legal guardian can act as an authorized individual, an agent under power of attorney, a sibling, spouse, grandparent, or an SSA appointed rep payee. And below each one is the type of a documentation that we would require in order to get that person assigned as an authorized individual. So it's like a parent, a birth certificate, a legal guardian. That would be the appointment document from the court. For a power of attorney, of course, it would be the power of attorney document. For sibling and grandparent, we have an affidavit that we would ask one to complete and send in. For a spouse, they could use a marriage certificate. And then, of course, for a rep payee, we would just ask for the SSA letter that appoints that rep payee. So let's talk a little bit about the contribution sources and some of the limits. Well, the good news here is Able accounts are extremely flexible. So not only the account owner can contribute money to their account, but basically anyone and everyone can contribute to an account owner's account. So friends and family can contribute. Again, the account owner is the one who owns the account. Once the money goes in, it belongs to the account owner. If you had parents out there who you maybe had planned for their children to go to college, whether they did or not, or if they had excess money left in a college 529 plan, they can roll over monies from that college 529 plan into an Able account. So again, extremely flexible. Basically, anybody and everybody can contribute to an account. So let's talk about some of the limits. So for 2023, the contribution enroller limit is $17,000. Another limit to be aware of, as I mentioned, Able accounts allow a person to save beyond the $2,000 resource for SSI. when SSI runs their calculations to determine the resources, they exclude up to the first $100,000 in an ABLE account. If a account were to grow over $100,000, you might see a reduction in the SSI benefits, and you only need to spend your account down and get it back below the $100,000 limit, and those resources should be reinstated. There is a maximum account balance. When your account reaches that balance, it will still continue to earn interest. You can just no longer make contributions to that account. And you know, those maximum account balances range by state, anywhere from 300,000 to in excess of 500,000. The North Carolina limit, so the maximum account balance limit for the NC ABLE program is 540,000. Again, if you were to go over that, you would have to stop making contributions to the account. But if you were to spend the account down below that level, then you would be able to start making contributions again. There is what's called the able to work provision. So if you have an account owner that is working and they have the means, they actually get a higher limit. So in addition to the $17,000 per year contribution and rollover limit, if an account owner is working, then they can contribute the lesser of their earned income or the one person poverty level for the prior year. For 2022, that was $13,590. So in effect, if someone again had the means, they could save up to $30,590. So the 17,000 plus the 13,590, if that was the lesser of the two. Well, one thing I do want to mention here, ABLE accounts are an asset shield, not an income shield. So if a account owner is working, SSI still counts their income when they're doing their calculations. So even though they may put those monies into an ABLE account, it does not shield that income from the SSI income calculations. So how can you contribute money into an ABLE account? Well, you can write a check and mail it in. You can do a bank-to-bank transfer. Again, if the account owner is working, they can send in money through payroll deductions. We do have a UGift feature where people can sign up and gift monies through a UGift. And you can learn more about that at ugiftable.com. And an individual can have their SSI payments directly deposited into an ABLE account. So now that you have money in the account, let's talk about how you might invest that money. So let's talk a little bit about the investment options. So for somebody who is needing the money in the near term, or maybe they have a recurring monthly expenses, we do have a checking account option. It is sponsored by Fifth Third Bank. The accounts are interest bearing. They are FDIC insured up to $250,000. They do issue a debit card without any card issuance fees. These accounts do have check writing privileges. And there are a number of Fifth Thirds across the state of North Carolina, and so there's ATM access. And these accounts do not have any overdraft fees. Again, this is a great option for someone who may need the money in the near term or may have recurring monthly expenses. For those who may not need the money near term and might be trying to save for a longer term goal, say maybe they're trying to save up for a car or they're trying to save up for like a mortgage or some type of housing expense, we do have some longer range investment options. These are based on risk level and comfort. So you can see here there are 6. They go from a conservative to aggressive. They are kind of made up of a blend of stocks, bonds, and cash, depending on what their investment objective is. And that again allows for that money to grow over time. So again, if you have a young person, say 5 or 10 parents, can start saving in these accounts, put the monies into these longer term options, and so that they'll have a nice little account balance. Once that person gets older, these longer range investment options are not FDIC insured, and the performance on them is not guaranteed. But again, they're really good options if you're looking to save for longer term or larger types of expenditures. So let me talk a little bit about qualifying expenses. So as I mentioned before, ABLE accounts are a tax advantaged savings account. So the monies that you contribute, you put those monies in the account on an after-tax basis. Then the account earns interest. When you withdraw the monies from the account, the interest that the account has earned is tax-free and remains tax-free as long as the money is spent on a qualified disability expense, or what we call a QDE. And QDEs are defined very, very broadly. So really, it's any expense that relates to the account owner's disability that can be used for the benefit of the account owner in maintaining or improving their health, independence, or quality of life. Again, we focus on that it's got to be an expense that's related to the account owner's disability. It's used for their benefit in maintaining or improving their health, independence, or quality of life. Here you can see some examples. That could be education, that could be healthcare needs, whether it be some type of assistive type of technologies, housing, transportation, legal expenses. Again, they're defined very, very broadly on what they can be used on. So let's talk about how you get money out of an account. So again, you can use your debit card at an ATM and withdraw money out. If you have the checking account option, you can write a check. You can do a bank-to-bank transfer, or you can use your debit card where debit cards are accepted. So really, really easy ways to get your money out of the account. Now I want to touch base on the account fees. Like I said, we're very transparent in what our fees are and what these cost. So there's really 3 fees that could be possibly charged to an account. The first one is an annual account maintenance fee. That fee is $33 a year, $58 if you require paper statements. So we always encourage people to sign up for electronic statements. But the way that $33 is split up, $28 of those dollars goes to the program manager for all of the record keeping and administration and the handling of the money in and out that they do. $5 comes to the state of North Carolina to help pay for some of our cost that we have in running the program. It allows us to do outreach like we're doing tonight. The next possible fee is if you have the checking account option. Fifth Third charges $2 per month. But the great news is they will waive that fee if you have an average daily account balance of $250 or more, or if you simply elect electronic delivery of statements. So again, if you have the checking account option, that fee can be waived. And then the last fee is if you are in some of the longer term investment options that I mentioned, there's an annual asset-based fee of 30 to 33 basis points. For those of you that are not familiar with that term, it's basically 0.3 of 1% to 0.33 of 1% of assets. So one easy way to think about that is for every $1,000 that you have invested, it's between $3 and $3.30 per year, depending on which one of those investment options you're in. Okay, one of the questions that we get when we do a lot of these outreach webinars is, if I have a special needs trust, do I need an ABLE account? Or how do these accounts work together? So we look at ABLE accounts and special needs trust as just basically two tools in the toolbox. The choice really depends upon the needs of the beneficiary and what their goals are. Certainly, if there's larger assets involved, we would encourage you to meet with the special needs trust attorney and discuss things with them. But at a high level, a special needs trust does not have the same contribution limits that an ABLE account has in terms of getting money into the account. But when it comes to taking money out of the account, there are certain restrictions where you cannot use monies for a special needs trust for, and one of the prime examples of that is housing. We do have a webinar out on our website at ncable.org where our internal counsel, along with a special needs trust attorney, spoke on this topic. And so if this is of interest to you, certainly encourage you to go out to our website and watch that webinar. Certainly a very sensitive topic, but you typically always get a question of what happens to the money in an ABLE account when an account owner passes. So what happens at the death of an account owner? When that happens, we reach out to the family members and we ask for them to help us gather up all of the final qualified disability expenses. Again, funeral cost can be a QDE. So again, we try to gather up all those final expenses, and we get all of those paid at that time. If there's any monies left over, and the individual was participating in Medicaid may file a claim to recover some of their expenditures. If there's any monies left over after a Medicaid claim, then the remaining money would go to the account owner's estate. So let's talk a little bit about the resources that are out there. Again, I mentioned our website a number of times, ncable.org. We got a lot of great information out there, brochures, etc. Please take a time to go out there and visit. Again, the phone number here is to the service center where they can help to answer questions. We are very active on social media, so on Facebook and Twitter. We also have some YouTube videos out there. So whenever there's updates to the program, we'll post those out to social media. So some really good ways to kind of keep up with what's going on with the program. I also want to mention another great resource, which is the ABLE National Resource Center. So this is a national organization. They have some great tools on their website. They actually have a tool that allows you to compare two ABLE programs side by side, so you can go and select two different states and see all of the features side by side there. So some really good tools there as well. A lot of good information. So just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that additional resource. And that's really the end of my prepared comments, Sherelle. I'm happy at this point in time to field any questions that folks may have.